Hello everyone! How are you doing today? Good! Welcome to Rescue Tales. Now, my name is Mel, and I'm very fortunate to be one of over 350 animal care specialists right here at SeaWorld Orlando. I really do have the best job in the world. I mean, where else do you get to wake up every day, help take care of some animals, and also share their stories? And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to share some of these stories with you, as well as highlight the connections these animals have made with their trainers. But each animal, big or small, they play a vital role in the ecosystem, and the more we take the chance to study them and learn more about them, we not only enhance their lives, but we also promote the well-being of their wild counterparts. We're going to try to have some fun with you today. We're going to throw out some questions, and if you think you know the answer or just want to make a guess, go ahead and shout it out. We'd love to hear from you. But let's start us off and shine a spotlight on one of our animal friends here and help me introduce Rain.
Hi everybody. This is my friend Rain. Rain is a Eurasian eagle owl. She is 9 years old. These guys are found all over Europe and Asia. They're one of the more common owls over there. There's a lot of different subspecies, but they are the largest owls in the world. So she's technically second largest, which is pretty cool. They weigh about 8 to 10 pounds, and most owl species live about 20-25 years. So being 9 years old, she's got a lot of life ahead of her. She originally was hatched at a zoo in Ohio, but she joined our family not too long ago to help us with being an amazing ambassador for her species. Owls are found all over the world. There's actually about 250 different types. You can find them everywhere except Antarctica, which is pretty cool. They all share different things in common that make them amazing predators. When she turns back around, you probably notice right off the bat her enormous, beautiful eyes. Owls' eyes take up 2/3 of their skull, so pretty almost the whole thing. If you were to compare that to us, it would be like having two grapefruits in our head. Yeah. So we have muscles that move our eyes side to side, up and down, but she doesn't because her eyes take up so much room. So that's why they have to turn their head so far around. Anybody know how many degrees they can turn their head? Just shout it out. Did you say 363? 250. Yeah, that was pretty close. It's about 270. Yeah. As cool as it would be to go round and round and round, sometimes the cartoons kind of make it misleading, but she does have neck vertebrae in there, so it's about 2/3, 270. We have 7 neck vertebrae. She has 14, so that's why she can go so much further than us. Around the outside of her eyes is called a facial disc. That's a group of feathers that amplify her hearing. Her ears are actually buried inside all those feathers right there. She has impeccable hearing. She can hear a mouse about 75 feet away under the snow stepping on a twig. So amazing hearing, yeah. And has anyone heard an owl fly at night? Yeah. No, yeah, mixed crowd. Well, theoretically you shouldn't. They have what's called silent flight. It's pretty awesome. They have comb-like projections on the outsides of their wings, the feathers right here on her wings, and it makes it so you really can't hear her when she's flying. So with that silent flight, the eyesight, the ears, she's a formidable predator. She can go after almost anything she can wrap her talons around. And she's gonna eat any types of small animals, rodents, rabbits, you name it, snakes, lizards, all sorts of fun stuff. These guys are really good to have around big farms. They're going to keep the rodent population down. In fact, even around our houses, they're like free pest control. Yeah. Owls are so important. In fact, scientists use them as an indicator species, which means, you know, I was really getting tired, so yeah. Which means that she will help determine the health of an ecosystem. They're going to study the populations of various species of owls all over the world, and if a population suddenly drops, then they know something's going on in that ecosystem. So really, really important. She is not in danger, but there are some species of owls that are. A lot of that has to do with habitat loss, but a lot of them are being adapted to living in our neighborhoods and around our houses. So if you do have a lot of owls in your area, that's awesome. Just make sure any pesticides we use around our homes, try and use environmental friendly ones. That way we don't accidentally give any of that pesticides to any of our forest friends like owls or foxes or what have you. That way they don't get sick. So hope you guys learned a lot about owls today. Give Rain a big cheer. She did awesome. Yeah. And we're going to bring a more local animal out for you now. I know you see everything, huh? Thanks, Heather.
So when y'all think of wildlife in the state of Florida, what's the first animal that comes to mind?
Alligator.
Alligators, yeah. I made that question really easy. I have got one here in my hand. But this is my friend Everglade, and she is a 1-year-old American alligator. Now these guys are found all over the southeastern United States, ranging as far west as Texas, as far north as North Carolina, and then of course down here in Florida. They're found in freshwater environments, so lakes, ponds, rivers, streams, pools, golf courses. I'm sure you've seen the videos. They can live about 35 to 50 years out in the wild, and then they can hit up to 80 under human care. It's a pretty long life, yeah. Speaking of long, they can get about 13 feet in length and weigh between 400 and 600 pounds. Yeah, so when that happens, we're gonna need a lot more hands and a lot more trainers out here. I won't be able to do this anymore. Thank you for laughing. The jokes don't get any better. Now she's got some really cool features that I want to go ahead and highlight. Starting out with her jaws here. Now she's got her mouth closed, but she's got quite a lot of teeth in there. Anyone want to guess how many teeth she has? 100? It's a little bit lower than that. 80, yeah, 80 teeth, I heard it. Which is quite a lot. And they will actually constantly lose and regrow their teeth throughout their entire lifetime. They'll go through about 2,000 to 3,000 teeth in their entire life. Yeah, a lot of dentist visits for sure. Now it might look like she's got some sort of armor on here. These little bony plates right here, there's a really fancy word for them. They're called osteoderms, but they do kind of serve like armor. They'll help protect her from predators and such out in the wild. And then of course she has got a super awesome and powerful tail. When they are fully grown, they can use their tail and swish it back and forth in the sediment to form something called a gator hole. Now that can fill with water, and other animals in the environment can utilize them during times of drought, but what they're most known for is their nests. One really cool thing about alligator nests is the temperature of the soil actually determines the gender of the babies. So if it's about 86 degrees Fahrenheit or below on average, most of the babies will be female. And then if it's about 93 degrees Fahrenheit or above on average, most of them will be male. And then if the temperature falls somewhere in the middle, you'll have kind of a mixed bunch, which I think is really cool. It's kind of like sea turtles. One other really cool thing about alligators is they're actually one of the only reptiles that will care for their young after they hatch. So for up to 2 years after these little guys hatch, their moms will help protect them, feed them, care for them, things like that. As you can see, Everglade here, she's pretty small, so she would have a difficult time defending herself out in the wild. Now, alligators haven't always been as prevalent as they are today. Actually, back in 1967, they were actually endangered, and that was due to habitat loss, hunting, things like that. But through about 20 years of continued conservation efforts, in 1987, we were able to remove them from the endangered species list, and also that exact same year, they became the state reptile for the state of Florida, which I think is super cool. I'm sure I've got some Floridians out here in the audience with us. I'm sure y'all were taught on how to coexist with alligators in the wild. But pretty much what that means is just respecting them, giving them their space, not approaching them, and certainly not feeding them, as cute as they are. And I think Everglade did a fantastic job helping me teach y'all a little bit about alligators. What do you think? And before I go ahead and invite another Florida native species on out here with us, I'm gonna have you guys help me with this one. See you later. Later. Perfect. Thank you guys.
After a while, crocodile. I know some of you already said it, but I said it. Now I'm sure some of you can see it here. A snake, you're right. This is a Florida king snake. This is Cassandra. She is 2 years old. Now Cassandra, she is what we call a surrender. So she did live with a family before, and they just didn't have the right resources to help take care of her. So now she has a forever home here at SeaWorld, and now she's a great ambassador for the species because we get to teach people about it. But Cassandra, again, is a Florida king snake, and they're mostly found in the southeastern United States. But she is one of about 45 subspecies of the king snake. And even though king snake, it sounds really grand and big, they are a smaller species of snake. Again, smaller. So how big do you think the king snake can get?
5 feet.
You got it, 4 feet. Yeah, they can get up to 4 feet long. She's just close to 2 feet here, so she's still got some growing to do. We'll see her get about double in size. But yeah, still get about 4 feet long. Now, the king snake, they do eat meat like other reptiles, and she will eat small rodents, insects, and even some of those other reptiles. And what's really cool, she is immune to venom. So she can even eat those other snakes that have venom. So she has antibodies in her that kind of helps her digest a little bit better and protect her from that venom. She personally doesn't have any. She is a constrictor. So again, they are popular for being a snake, a pet snake, because they are a little more docile and friendly. But they are an exotic species. So if you're gonna own an exotic species of an animal, be sure to do your research and kind of know what you're getting into, because it takes some extra care, and they also need an exotic veterinarian. They can't go to a regular dog and cat vet. They need that extra help there. But if for any reason you do have an exotic pet, or you know someone that does and they can't take care of it, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Department, FWC, they do have what's called amnesty days, and that's where you can surrender those animals like Cassandra, and they'll have a home lined up for them so they can be properly cared for. It's a really cool program, something to look into, but we do want to be sure we never release these animals back out into the wild. More than half the time, if they are a pet, they won't know how to hunt for themselves, but also, even though they might survive out there, they could become invasive. It's kind of like down in the Everglades, someone let go some pythons and now they're overtaken. They're an invasive species. So again, just do that research, be mindful of what you're getting into, and hopefully we can see more snakes like Cassandra out there, and she's really great. Let's give it up for Cassandra. Now our next animal friend will be coming out shortly with my friend Emily Ray.
Hey, come on, let's go.
Are you guys enjoying meeting our animals so far? Awesome, good to hear. Well, I'm super excited to introduce our next animal. He is super cool. He's got a ton of personality. His name is Newman, and he is a 21-year-old African Southern ground hornbill. He's going to be making his grand entrance, I believe, on this side of the stage with his trainer, Heather. Maybe. He is super cool. He is native to Africa. Maybe. He's taking his sweet time building up that anticipation. But like I said, he's 21. There he is. Maybe. There we go, there's Newman. Now he may come over and bang on this box, just to make sure y'all are all paying attention. His beak, he kind of uses it like an axe. There we go. He kind of uses it like an axe to kind of explore his environment, forage for bugs and other insects out in the savanna. So like I said, he is an African Southern ground hornbill. Like his name suggests, they do prefer to spend a majority of their time on the ground. However, they do have about a 4-foot wingspan. They can fly about 18 miles an hour, which is pretty fast. Like I said, he's 21. We just celebrated his 21st birthday a couple weeks ago. Yeah, woo! But that's actually pretty young for a ground hornbill. They can live about 50 years out in the wild, and then they can hit up to 70 under human care. Yeah, so he's got a long life ahead of him. Now, I'm sure you're noticing that beautiful red patch of skin on his face. That there is called a wattle. He can actually inflate that wattle with air and make something called a booming sound. Now, that booming sound can be heard up to 4 miles away out on the African savanna and can be mistaken for a lion's roar. They often make that sound pretty early in the morning, so it's a fantastic alarm clock for other animals out on the savanna, and they can use it to communicate with one another. Another thing I want to point out on his face are those gorgeous eyelashes. Now, we have to pay really good money for eyelashes like those, but he is born with them, male and female, and they're actually not eyelashes at all. They are modified feathers, and they just help protect his eyes from that really harsh sunlight, dust, and debris. It's equivalent of you guys wearing, a hat or sunglasses when you're outside in the sun. Now, these guys eat a variety of things, pretty much whatever they can get their beak on, ranging from small rodents, fruits, vegetables, insects, pretty much anything they can find out on the African savanna. These birds tend to be about 9 to 10 pounds on average, with the females being a little bit larger. You can tell he is a male because his wattle is red. Females typically have a deep purple color wattle, which I think is really cool. Now, these guys are unfortunately endangered, and that's due to pretty much one main reason. They have a very low reproduction rate, typically yielding only one successful chick every 9 years, which is pretty low, yeah. And that's due to two main things. The first one being is these birds are very particular about the type of tree that they choose to build their nest in. And unfortunately, that tree is found few and far between out on the African savanna. And then the second one being these guys, regardless of how many eggs they lay in a clutch, typically only have the time and resources to successfully raise that first chick. So something that's super cool that the SeaWorld Conservation Fund has contributed to and even sent trainers to, there is, it's called Kruger National Park, and they are actually building fake trees. So they're increasing those amount of trees that they can build their nests in, and the birds don't seem to tell the difference. So they're doing that, and then they are also taking those eggs that the parents don't have the time or resources to raise, and they're actually taking those eggs and hand raising them with puppets, which I think is super cool. Then after about a year and a half, 2 years, they will actually reintroduce them to their family groups. These guys mate for life, so they'll all hang out as a family, and they will reintroduce those chicks to their family, which I think is super cool. Now, Newman is what you would call an imprinted bird, so he identifies more as a human than as a bird. So he absolutely loves just hanging out here with us on stage. He would come out in the audience and personally greet each and every single one of you if he could. So he just loves hanging out with us here and getting some scratchies while he's on his box. But I think he did a fantastic job, so let's give it up for Newman and so like I said, he might just hang out and help us with the clothes. Showing off that wingspan, bud? But as we conclude our journey through Rescue Tales, we are reminded that every animal, no matter how big or small, deserves love, compassion, and a second chance. And are you all still paying attention? And we here at SeaWorld are so lucky to be able to provide that opportunity for nearly 60 years. We have rescued over 41,000 animals with the goal of rehabilitating them and returning them back into the wild.
That's right. Just this year alone, right here in SeaWorld Orlando, we've already released 26 manatees and 45 sea turtles. Let's give it up for the rescue team and vet staff. They do a great job.
And that job is never finished. Through the dedication of our rescue team and support from compassionate individuals much like yourselves, these stories of hope and healing continue to unfold each day. Until next time, remember, cherish every tale. Within each one lies a story worth saving.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day here at SeaWorld.
All right, I hope you enjoyed Rescue Tales. Looks like we had 4 different animals today, so that was nice. Thank you all for coming. I'll make my way over to the Sea Lion show, and we'll see that in like 10 minutes or so. Thank you. Have a good day.